This is the solution to game keycards that no one is talking about. Hey guys, what's up? It's Captain SNES here. It has been a while. It's been about a year since I've uploaded, and a lot has happened in that time. We had all of the leaks and rumors coming out around Christmas, and then we had the announcement that came around, February? Just a lot has happened. The Switch 2 is out. It's in our hands. The last time I was on here, I was talking about what we thought it might be. But now that it's in our hands and we have more information, of course, there is now more drama surrounding the system, where before it was excitement, now we've got some drama to talk about. So, game keycards, the thing on everybody's mind. It seems to be the talking point of the community at the moment, or at least a few of the talking points of the community. There's just a lot of drama going on. But what are game key cards? Why do they exist? Why do people hate them? And how do I think that we can solve this whole issue? So I'm going to try to keep this simple and straight so we can get to the solution. This shouldn't be a very long video. So what is a game key card? A game key card is kind of like a game on the cartridge, except the game isn't on the cartridge. There is still a cartridge, it just doesn't contain the full game on it. It contains just a license to play the game. So with that license, you can take that, put it in your console, and it'll download the game for you, and you can play it as if it was on the cartridge. So the difference between this and a game card is that the game card contains the full game on the cartridge, playable at any point in time, where the game key card just allows you to play the game. It allows you to download it off the servers, and you still have to have an internet connection to at least start up the game for the first time. The game key card is something that is completely new for the Switch 2, and when I first found out that this was happening, I was a little annoyed, but I figured that it was just a different name for something that was already happening. On the Switch 1, you had games like the Metal Gear Solid Collection, where you got the game on the cartridge, but you didn't actually get any of the games. It was really odd. So you'd put the cartridge in, you'd have all these icons pop up on your screen. You could open them, you could maybe look at a bit of behind the scenes stuff, but if you actually wanted to play the game, you had to download said games. So even though this was sort of a thing before, they kind of just put a label on it, and it's much worse than anybody really wanted it to be. So, why is there drama, controversy? Why don't people like them? So, people like the idea that when they buy a game, it's on the cartridge. They can play it whenever they want. They don't have to be on the servers. If they want to play it 50 years down the line and they have the cartridge and they have the system, they can still play it. With a game key card, this is just simply not the case. You are dependent on the servers being up for you being able to re-download that game. The only way that you wouldn't have to re-download the game in 50 years is if you still had that game downloaded on your SD card from 50 years ago. I don't think it's too hard to understand why people don't like them. They just want to own the things they buy, and this is a blatant slap in the face telling you you do not own what you are purchasing. You own the license. You own nothing, essentially. So because people don't like these game key cards, they aren't purchasing them, and publishers are not meeting their expectations on these games that they're putting out on game key cards. So if this all around just doesn't seem like anybody likes this, publishers aren't making more money off of it, why do they exist in the first place? So on the Switch 2, we now have faster storage than we did on the Switch 1, which means those game cartridges also need to have faster storage. With that faster storage comes a price. So the Switch 2 cartridges cost about $16 a piece, and they only make them in 64 gigabyte variants. So if your game is over 64 gigabytes, you have to use a game key card. But even if it is way, way under 64 gigabytes, you still have to use a 64 gig card or the game key card. And just being that they are $16 a piece, that really cuts into your bottom line when you are trying to make money off of these games. If you think about it for a second, you've got a $60 game, a $16 cartridge. You have to pay for not only that cartridge, but the case and the artwork. You need to pay for shipping to get it to the stores. You need to have a cut for the stores. You need to have a cut for Nintendo, and then now you have whatever you're left over with. So publishers just go to the game key card, which is the cheaper option, and that's why it exists. Without the game key card, publishers might just choose to not put their games on Switch, at least physically, and not have them on a storefront, which is the last thing that Nintendo wants. So how do I propose that we fix this issue? To answer that question, let's think about another console right now. Let's go to the PlayStation 5. On that system, we have much faster storage, but we still have discs that we sell the games on. Not every single one of those discs, but a lot of them do contain the full game on them, and when you put them in the system, it simply downloads that game off of the disc to the internal storage so that you can then play it utilizing the faster storage of the PS5. I hope some of you see where I'm going with this. So my solution is that we just take the old Switch 1 cartridges that were cheaper to produce but still had these larger file sizes for a lot of them, put the whole Switch 2 game on these Switch 1 cartridges, have them downloadable off of the cartridge to the internal storage of the system and playable that way. That way you have a cartridge that has the whole game on it, is playable in 50 years, is not reliant on a server to download, and I think it keeps most people happy. This is all about keeping the cost down for the publisher while keeping the consumer happy, and the only group that I see not being too happy about this is the group of people who are trying to save storage on their systems by buying the games physically. Now, to counter those people, I have to say, where have they been playing games for the past 5 years? Because it certainly isn't an Xbox or PlayStation. They aren't saving any storage over there because, like I said, the game has to be installed to the internal storage to run properly. These people must have just been playing on the Switch 1, which was really the last holdout for buying physical media to save on storage space. Really, there's not much more to say about this solution that I have. I've gone over this with a few different people. I know that it makes me happy. Everybody that I've talked to about it, it seems to be a good solution for them. We just need to make it more heard because I am not seeing anybody online giving this opinion or this solution. Nintendo recently came out with a survey. It lasted a very short amount of time, but I was able to get in on it, and it was just kind of asking what people thought about buying physical games, why they buy physical games, who they buy physical games for, how long they keep them, what they decide to do with them, and it was obvious that this was about game key cards. To see if game key cards were still a viable thing, it was just a small minority on the internet maybe crying about them a little bit. So they're definitely listening. They definitely want to know how to fix this issue. It is an issue. The publishers are crying about this, and something needs to be done. So if this is an idea that you like, please spread the word. I want to see this in comment sections. I want to see people talking about this. There is only one person that I have ever heard that has shared the same sentiment online, and I want to see this more because it's already what we have on other systems. We just need it to happen on the Switch 2. That's really all I had to say. I just wanted to share my opinion on this. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, your weekend, your night, whatever it may be. Have a good one, and peace out.